Soul Garden.
Having a hard time with love lasting long enough? How often is your first date your last date? Have you noticed that your relationships last no more than 2 days? They say love never lasts, but in your case, it doesn't even start. Your birthday is a secret soul security number. We know everything about you, how you love, how you lust, and how you like to be lusted by. In one video, you'll understand what you're looking for in love and what you offer. Secrets of Birthdays, now available at secretsofbirthdays.com. Hello, my fellow soul gardeners, and welcome back to Astro 102. We are learning about astrology, how to read our charts, and right now we're going over the houses. Now, last week we looked at the 3rd and 9th house, the intellect and belief structure. Today we'll be looking at the 4th house and the 10th house, okay? This is a very powerful line in the chart, I just want to say, from bottom to top. Your 4th house basically is your roots, okay, where you come from. It is your childhood. And your 10th house is your career. But usually the sign on the 10th house cusp, whatever the midheaven is pointing into, that is actually the sign you're working to become in this lifetime. Did you know that? So you're working to become that, and we use our work career as kind of a beta for us playing that out. So our careers in our life are actually us working on the next lifetime ahead of time. Pretty fascinating stuff, huh? And the 4th house is where we come from. And let's start there. The 4th house is our childhood, okay? It is our roots. It is how we ground ourselves. I call it the potting soil of our soul garden. So in this kind of spectrum of consciousness really is your childhood, your early childhood experiences. Therefore, that's partly your subconscious, because your early childhood is the subconscious, or turns out to be the subconscious later. It's your relationship usually to your mother or your nurturing parent. Sometimes it's reversed. Sometimes daddy's nurturing and mom is the tough one. But it is your relationship to your nurturing parent. It is also the home you create for yourself, right? So how you live once you're in the college dorm room, once you're in your own home, that sort of thing. It's how you create that home. And most importantly, it is how you nurture yourself or don't nurture yourself, all right? So this is whether or not you eat right, you sleep right. 4th house is survival. Its natural ruler is Cancer, okay? The mother vibration. So how we mother ourselves and how we nurture ourselves. If your sun is in the 4th house, your whole life revolves around your home, okay? Revolves around you being grounded. These are very grounded people, sun in the 4th house. And they don't necessarily stay at home all day, but home is very important, family is very important, survival is a no-brainer for these people. And they tend to draw in people, by the way, that have a problem nurturing themselves. So these people turn into mother hens oftentimes, no matter what their sign is. Their sign can be Capricorn, which is the opposite sign of Cancer, and they're still mother hens, they're still mothering everyone, taking care of everyone. So self-nurturing is important. One interesting aspect about the 4th house is it is also a clue to your past life. How do you figure that? Well, because when we reincarnate, our childhood reestablishes the past life. Your childhood is the only fated part of your life, the part where you don't have a lot of free will. That's the part where your parents are sculpting and molding your vibration and kind of giving us a trajectory that you're going to head towards in life, which is towards the 10th house. And so, in a way, I can look at the issues of the 4th house and know a lot about what your past life was like. If you got a nice rosy 4th house with lots of happy planets, you're coming from a past life that was pretty happy, probably not a lot of karma, probably not doing a lot of past life work in this lifetime. If you have Pluto in the 4th house, these are usually people who are going to die and be reborn when it comes to their concept of family. These are the kids that got kicked out of the house at 16. Pluto in the 4th are the kids that don't know how to feed themselves. These are people that are always living off of others' nurturing. These are people that have homelessness as a problem. These are people who might have lose their home literally, lose it to a bank. Even when they're adults, they're still trying to figure out how to ground themselves, still trying to figure out how to keep a solid home and family. On the opposite of that, the sun in the 4th house people, they could be out in the desert living in a tent, and you're going to go in there and it's going to be cozy and there's pillows and candles lit, and you're like, what the hell, we're in a desert. They're just masters of that self-nurturing. Now flipping over to the 10th house, let's zip over to that and we'll kind of cover both. The 10th house is nearly the opposite of the home. What is it? It's always career and home, right? Career and home. Those are the two basic, family and career. What we do on the planet outside when we go to work, that's the 10th house. When we come back home, that's the 4th house. The 10th house's natural ruler is Capricorn, okay? Now they say Capricorns rule business. That's not really true. Capricorns rule organization. How are we going to get this head of lettuce to the supermarket? A Capricorn's what figures that out, okay? How are we going to organize our banking structure? How are we going to organize our religious structure? Everything in every organization has rules and bylaws, and that's what Capricorn does. Capricorn sculpts out the clay of mankind so that everything runs efficiently. That is how they end up controlling things, but in a good way, not a bad way. So the 10th house tells me, what mark are you going to leave on the planet? What is going to be your legacy? What are you going to do out there in the world? What are you going to leave behind? Okay, so a lot of times I have mothers who have son in the 10th house, and they go, I don't have a career, a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, that is your career. Your legacy is your children, okay? You're leaving behind these children. You're leaving behind all of your spiritual information and your fabulous DNA. That's a lot of good work you're doing for us. Now, culture doesn't necessarily say that that's great or give it the respect that it deserves, but it's absolutely necessary work in the world. In fact, lately, it seems in the last couple decades, we've stopped doing that as a profession. Also, it is, of course, your profession. So if the sun is in the 10th house, their entire life revolves around their career. And I'm going to give you a famous person, but I'll just tell you right now, my son is in the 10th house, okay? I had a paper out at 13, and I have not stopped working since. Everything revolves around my career, even my home and family, much to the dismay of the people who have been generous enough to date me. Nonetheless, your whole life revolves around your career. These are career people. These are successful career people. Success is almost a given when it comes to their career. They kind of have the Midas touch. They always get the jobs. They always get the interview. They always really can understand also how things operate. Sun in the 10th house can walk into a scene and say, and just kind of digest it consciously and go, oh, I get it. I see how this whole store works. They unpack it there, it goes on the rack, then it gets scanned. They just get it. They have this processing ability of how to process things. Now, if you have Pluto in the 10th house, that always tells me, oh, this soul has not gone and done a career in lifetimes or ever. You're out of time. It's Pluto time, right? So that means that you've got to have a career this lifetime, like it or not. And a lot of times, I look at the past life stuff of these people. They're mothers. They've been women for many, many lifetimes. They haven't had an opportunity as a woman to have a career. So you have a lot of women, actually, that have Pluto in the 10th, not because they're bad at careers, but because mankind, in my opinion, didn't give them the friggin' chance to go out there and do it until this life. Thank goddess for the 70s and the women really taking their power. So if it's a man with Pluto in the 10th, most of the time it's the same kind of thing. They are maybe a lot of Leo energy. They're used to having everything thrown at their feet. And these people have to struggle through the process of a resume and struggle through the interview process. And they're just learning. They're just learning. They're young souls and they're figuring it out. If Jupiter's in the 10th house, hot damn, that is some good fortune. One person that comes to mind that I know, Oprah Winfrey has Jupiter in the 10th house. Anything she touches turns to gold instantly. We all know this. Now, as far as famous people in the 4th, 10th house paradigm, for the 4th house, I thought something interesting. Bill Cosby has his son in the 4th house. And you can see how all of his comedy, all of his product revolve around him as a father, right? He's a comedian or whatever, but he's obviously a homebody. He cares about raising kids. He still is on TV about kids. And in the 10th house, I came up with two. Johnny Depp, who's a Gemini, has his son in the 10th house. And yes, he's a famous actor, but he's bigger than that. That guy has been in film after film after film after film after film. Another person with their son in the 10th house, Robin Williams, has his son in the 10th house. You can see the same parallel. Film after film after film after film. It is a solid career. All right, folks, that wraps up Astro 102, Episode 4. But I'll be back next week to talk about the 5th house. See you then. Why does every guy cheat on you? Trust me, I know. How come girls always call you their friend? I can tell you. We'll talk about your strengths and we'll talk about emotions. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Check out yours at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Soul Garden.